Hey friends, so wonderful to see you again. It's Phil here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today's video is a little bit of a funny story. It's about the time that Mitch Marner came into one of my old jobs, and I pretty much almost got fired because of it. It's pretty interesting. This was capture from a nice little live stream between Mr. Audie James and I. There's a bunch of cool hockey tales. If you want to go check it out, the VOD is on Twitch. I'll put a link to my Twitch right down below because it'd be cool to see you guys check out some of these live streams. But if not, don't worry. A lot of these clips and stories will be posted right here on YouTube because that's where I got my start and I kind of want to start posting again. So this is a funny story. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you in a couple seconds. Some of the best little stories I have coming up here is when I got to meet some NHL players without even thinking about like meeting them. Like for example, one of the ones I'll talk about is I used to work at a Cineplex theater in Richmond Hill.
I love this story.
Cineplex. There's a couple of them here actually. There's two that kind of tie in all together. So one of the first things I'll talk about, because the three stories I have tie into each other. So, by the way, apparently if you ever want to meet hockey players, work at the Cineplex in Richmond Hill. A lot of like players live up here in like the Richmond Hill area. So I was working concession one time, which is like the popcorn, the drinks, things like that. And I remember I was like going around like the little horseshoe and just making sure that we had like supplies and stuff like that. And then I was like going to wipe the counter because it was like a little bit quiet. And I remember when I was about to go back to the unit, I was like, I think that's Mitch Marner. And I look, I see because he always wears this Red Bull hat. He wears this Red Bull hat, always backwards. And I'm like, I think that's Mitch Marner. And so I'm like nervous at this point. I'm like, we're not supposed to have our phones or anything out, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm getting fired for this. I don't care. I'm like, I am 1000% going to take the heat for them. I don't even care. I'll walk up and ask him. So I remember like the rule of thumb too is he was in line. So like he wasn't ordering. So I'm like, I didn't interrupt anything. Like he wasn't like ordering. So I remember I just went up to him like, excuse me, sir. Like, excuse me, Mr. Marner. I'm like, I'm a huge fan. Do you mind if I get a picture with you? He was like, yeah, absolutely, bud. Like he was really friendly. Like he was just like there with a friend and his girlfriend and his friend's girlfriend. So they were all kind of there to see a movie. And so like I got a picture with them. I'm like, thank you so much, man. And I remember the one manager calls me over. He's like, Phil. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm literally actually about to get fired for this. I'm about to get written up. He's like, why'd you have your phone out taking a picture? And my manager, he's just like, who was that guy? And I'm like, it's Mitch Marner. He's Toronto Maple Leafs. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. You got a picture? I'm like, yeah, make sure. He's like, oh, cool. Good job, man. And I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I'm not going to pass it. I'm like, that's one of the things. It's just you take that, like, I'll take the risk for that. So he goes to pay, and like he goes for his order and stuff like that. Like I head back to the unit and I'm like I'm not trying to like be right near the counter to be like, hey, how's it going? Like continue the conversation. I'm like, I'll kind of clean, just like keep a peripheral eye out and stuff like that. And I'm like wiping the stuff, and it's funny because like the girl who cashed him out didn't even know who he was. And so like I remember afterwards he's going to pay, and I guess he went to like tap with his like phone and stuff like that. And I guess he was trying to use I want to guess American Express, because our tap at the theater was finicky with American Express and it wasn't tapping through. And I know it's not because he doesn't have money. He's a Maple Leaf, okay? He's got money. It's not like Mitch Marner's poor.
He has a lot of those monies.
Yeah, it's not, he hasn't signed that 10 mil contract yet, but I'm like, I know he's got money. So I figured it was like an Amex tap, and so he motions to his girlfriend. He's like, do you have my card? Inserts his card, goes and pays, stuff like that. And I walk over to like the girl and I'm like, do you know who that was? She's like, no. I'm like, that's Mitch Marner. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, he's like one of the more prominent Toronto Maple Leafs. And I remember she went to the other girl. She's like, I just served a like celebrity.
Hey, Becky, you're never gonna believe who I just served.
She's like, I just served it. So we always, and then the best of the other girl was like, wow, he's cute. And I'm like, he's a rather good looking dude. I'm like, and then she's like, was that his girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, not for long. So her and I always had this inside joke. She'd be like, oh, how's my boo Mitch doing? I'm like, he's doing all right. There you go. It was a nice little funny tale about how Mitch Marner essentially almost got me fired. But like I said before, I was not going to pass up a chance to get a photo with an NHL player at all, especially one the caliber of Mitch Marner. You just don't do that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I got a lot more stories coming up. Thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay classy.